Alright, welcome back. The baby is napping upstairs and we are going to get through a prenatal friendly full body workout. So let's get into it before he wakes up. I've got my squishy ball just to use as a pillow for my side lying leg press. If you don't have your squishy ball, either a yoga block or just use your forearm. And then I've got 2 heavy springs on my machine. 2 heavy springs. If you wanted something a little bit more challenging and you're feeling a little bit more energetic today, you can go 2 heavy springs plus either a light spring or even 2 heavy springs plus a medium spring. Otherwise, let's come to take a lie down on our carriage. Let's lie onto our left side first. So your left ear is going to rest on that ball on your headrest. Take your top hand and make sure that there's no more space behind you for your hips. So your hips, your bum are shuffled all the way to the back of your machine and your knees are tucked up on that carriage for the ride. Top foot is going to come to your foot bar as far forward as you can on that foot bar, and then your knee is going to lift in line with your hip and your right heel. Nice deep inhale breath for me, then exhale, push heavy into that right heel, send the carriage all the way out. And inhale, float that carriage back in. Nice, go again, exhale, press. And inhale, return, beautiful. Now as we start to move, let's take a little check in with our position on the carriage. So take a little feel, take a little look. Your top shoulder is stacked directly on top of your bottom shoulder, and same with that top hip, directly on top of that bottom hip, so you haven't rolled forward or back. So just take a little check now. And then the other thing you can do is think about giving that top hip a little nudge down towards the foot bar until you feel a little bit of a lift underneath that left side of your waist. So maybe even a little space for your fingers to slide under your left waist in the carriage, depending on the shape of your body. Nice. And if you are doing this pregnant and you are getting a little bit of a bigger baby bump, you can use that top hand as well just to support your belly. Otherwise, just have it where it's comfortable, either a shoulder block or your hip, whatever you like. A few reps in your top range, yeah? So the next time that leg is long, inhale, just come into halfway, pause. Exhale, push to the top again. Inhale, come down to where that carriage feels the heaviest. Exhale, push back out to the top. You're still moving with your breath, so think about inhaling to come down to that halfway point. Exhaling nice and slow to come out. Slow the movement down if you can, harder if you go slower. Nice. And the next time you find halfway, can you freeze there for me? So find that point the carriage feels the heaviest. Feel free to figure out if that should be an inch higher or an inch lower for you. Once you found that heaviest point, we're going to freeze that carriage nice and still for 5. Focus on your inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth for 4. Good job. Heel digging into that foot bar for 3. I know it's super slow counting. On 2, can we start to pulse that carriage out an inch on your exhale, in an inch on your inhale, out an inch on your exhale, in an inch on your inhale. Nice. Keep going like this, building the heat through that right leg. Heel should be heavy, but those right toes should be able to wiggle on that foot bar. So you're light through those right toes. See if you can get that carriage just a little bit further out, a little bit more tension on those springs. Good job here for 5. Lengthen those breaths for 4, 3, 2, good job, and all the way to the top on 1. Nice work, all the way down. Little tap out for that glute if you need, and then we'll warm up the other side. So take your time to get there. We're going to go straight over to our right hand side. So roll yourself on over, still got that squishy ball or whatever you're using as a pillow on the headrest. Same thing here. You're going to shuffle your hips, your bum to the back of that machine. Foot is going to come to the far corner of that foot bar. And then start to move when you're ready. Exhale, push away. Inhale to return. Exhale, push. Inhale, return. Nice. As we start to get into that full range of motion, just take a little check back in with your body. So is your top shoulder on top of your bottom one? Is your top hip stacked on top of that bottom one? And then give that top hip that little nudge down towards your foot bar. Maybe that little feeling of lift underneath your waist. Keep it slow. I need to remind myself of that. So aim for 3 counts on the way out. That's better. 3 counts on the way back in. Make sure that knee is staying in line with your hip so it's not coming down or too far up. Parallel with that foot bar is probably about right. A few reps in your top range, shall we? So the next time you're all the way out, inhale, just come into where that carriage feels the heaviest, little pause. Exhale, back out. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, out. Think into the muscles that are working here. So think into that top left glute. Dig heavy into that left heel. Can you still wiggle those left toes? Just your pause and those pulses to go. So the next time you come into halfway, freeze that carriage still. Make sure you're at the point it feels the heaviest. And we're just going to hold here for 5. Notice how this side feels a little different to the right side. For me, this side is more challenging. You're here for 3. On 2, little pulses up an inch and down an inch. Up an inch on your exhale, down an inch on that inhale. Nice job. Here for 5. Lengthen out those breaths. Heel digging into that foot bar. Can you get a little higher for 3? And all the way to the top on 1. Nice. Bring that carriage all the way down. You can take a seat on your carriage. And we'll change our springs for our next. Let's go abs. So ball can go away. And then your spring options for your bird dog set, so working through our abdominals, is going to be 1 light spring. 1 single light spring. And then you're going to put your foot bar down out of the way. So 1 light spring, foot bar down, and then come to kneel on your carriage, facing the foot bar, the solid platform. Can you shuffle your knees all the way to the front of that moving carriage, so as far forward as you can get them, and then your fingertips can waterfall off the front edge of your solid platform. Slide that carriage, your knees away until you can find your 4-point kneel. So again, check your shoulders are over your wrists, your knees are under your hips. You're in that 4-point kneel position. From here, can you extend your left leg back behind you, keeping that carriage really still? Can you extend your right arm, so opposite arm, opposite leg, out towards the front of the room? Tap them both down. Same side, go again. So still that left leg, right arm reaches. Tap them both down. So as you inhale, extend left arm, left leg, right arm. Exhale to tap down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. So same leg, same arm every time. Inhale to tap them down. And through this whole exercise, that carriage is staying as still as you can get it. So think about zipping up your core from the top of your pelvis to the bottom of your rib cage. And if it does get too much to keep that carriage out, feel free to bring it in, shuffle those knees back, and you can work through this with that carriage docked if that's easier for you. Or you can keep both hands down on your solid platform and just work through the leg. That's totally fine as well. So lots of options. Otherwise, let's see how it feels to add on a crunch. So the next time your left leg, right arm extend out long, hold here for me. As you exhale, can you dome through the upper back? Try get your right elbow to tap your left knee. Good. And then extend back out as you inhale. Carriage stays as still as you can. Exhale, go again. Inhale, extend. So lots of control here. Nice, keep going for 10. Now, if you are doing this pregnant and you've got a baby bump in the way here, you can limit your range, so not quite getting all the way in, obviously. You don't want to crunch that baby. Otherwise, just keep having that little tap down, that little rest in between your repetitions. Nice, here for 5. Lift out of that left supporting shoulder. 3, 2. The next time you find your bird dog, left leg, right arm extended, just holding here. Lift a little taller out of that supporting left shoulder. Lift that heel, lift that arm. Nice. Pull that belly button, that baby, up towards your spine. You're here for 6. Lengthen your breaths for 5. Relax that right shoulder for 4, 3, 2, and you can come all the way down on 1. Nice work. Give that left shoulder, left wrist a little roll out, and then we're going to come into our lower body set. So you can stay on the same spring, one light spring, and then you're going to come off your machine to the left, standing in front of your carriage with your shoulder blocks, the back of the carriage on your left, and your foot bar to your right. Can you bring, just mindful you're on a light spring, your left knee to your carriage so that your shin is up against those shoulder blocks. Then your right foot is going to take an out turn, so toes are facing the right corner of the room. That knee is going to track out with those toes. We're going to sink down to find a wide leg squat. So as you inhale, that carriage comes out, bending into that right knee, as if you're sinking down in an elevator. Those hips, that bum comes straight down. Take a look, your knee is still over that heel. So you're not too far forward, you're not too far back. That knee is over that heel. And then to come up, you exhale, push heavy into that right heel, all the way to the top. Again, inhale, straight down like you're going in an elevator. Make sure that knee is above your heel. And then exhale to rise. Inhale, sink down low. Exhale to rise. So just like you did in the warm-up, make sure your heel, that right heel is staying heavy, but those right toes, you can still wiggle them at the bottom. Nice. Opening your arms up to a T each time. And just watch this one. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, we're not going to go too far into that squat. We don't want to pull anything in our inner groin. But if you are feeling good here and you're not pregnant or breastfeeding, feel free to take that light spring off. You can do this with no springs if you are careful about that range. Nice job. Let's add on. So the next time you come down into your squat, hold it here. I want you to take a little side over towards the foot bar, windmill those arms up and over. So left fingers reach for the foot bar, right fingers reach for the back of the machine. Unravel back to that T and then push to the top. Feeling it in those inner thighs maybe here. Inhale, squat, side over, maybe looking down towards that right knee. Open up and then press to the top. So each time you come down, I like to think about that left shin staying in contact with my reformer rails, just to make sure that that left knee isn't collapsing inwards. So that might be a nice cue for you as well. And a lovely little side bend here. Nice spine mobility. And a good little stretch if you do have any round ligament pain. Just nice to stretch out, make space for that baby. I've got one more optional layer here. If you did want a little bit more for our last few reps, let's add on a heel lift. So the next time you're down in that squat, arms are to a T. As you take your side over, can you peel your right heel off the floor? As you open back to that T, place that right heel down and then press to the top. Can you give me 4 like that? Inhale, squat, side over, lift that right heel. If it feels wobbly or that right ankle feels yucky, leave it out. And then all the way to the top, give me 3. Side over, lift the heel. Find your T, lower the heel. All the way to the top, you've got 2. Take it slow. Good. Last one, we're going to hold at the bottom. So inhale, find that wide-legged squat and hold. Side over, lift the heel. Find your T, lower the heel. Stay in your squat, go again. Side over, lift the heel. Lower the heel back to your T. You're here for 4. Good job. For 3. Nice. For 2. The next time you lower that heel, find your T. Can you hold just a pulse down and down with that right leg? Heel is down on the floor, or if you wanted a little bit more, you can lift it for 4. 3, 2, and 1. Heel down. Come all the way in. Nice work. Little shake through those inner thighs for me there. Take a little seat. Your right ankle can come over your left thigh if that's comfortable for you. Just to take a little stretch for that glute, that hip flexor. And take a couple of deep belly breaths. We're going to do that same sequence on the other side, the bird dogs, and then those wide leg squats. So stay on the same spring. Once you've had a little stretch, maybe a drink of water, let's do the bird dogs on the other side. Right leg, left arm. Take that 4-point kneel on your carriage, knees all the way to the edge, hands waterfalling off the solid platform. Find your 4-point kneel. Right leg this time is going to extend out long behind you. Make sure that that carriage doesn't move. And then can you extend your left fingers to the front of the room? Place everything down. Go again. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, tap it down. Nice. So if you need to move each limb independently, so first the leg, then the arm, that's fine. If you can move them both at once, that's great too. Just do what works for you. You're moving as slowly as you need to maintain that gap between your carriage and the stopper. So come back to that feeling of zipping up your core, pelvis to rib cage. And remember your options here. You can either close the carriage, just do your leg, or maybe we add that crunch. So the next time that right leg, left arm are extended, as you exhale, Dome through the upper back. Tap, if you can, left elbow to right knee. And then inhale, extend out long. You're here for 10. Nice, so we've taken the rest out of this movement. To keep our energy up, make sure you're still taking those nice deep belly breaths. Moving with control, you're nearly there. You've got 5. Can you lift a little bit further out of that right supporting shoulder? Last 2. And then the next time you find your bird dog, just a hold for 10. Lift that left arm, lift that right leg, pull that belly button in. Can you get that chest a little further up towards the ceiling, away from that solid platform? Last 6. 5. Keep breathing. Last 3. 2. And all the way in on 1. Close the carriage. Take a little roll for that right hand and that right shoulder. Awesome, team. We're going to come into our wide-legged squats on the other side. So come off your machine to the right. So you're standing in front of your carriage, foot bar to your left, back of your machine to your right. Right leg or right knee is going to come to rest on your carriage against those shoulder blocks. And your left foot is on the ground with those left toes rotated out diagonally. As you inhale, bending into that left knee, send that carriage out and away. Exhale, push heavy into that left heel, squeeze that carriage back in. Inhale, find your wide leg squat. Exhale, push into that heel to rise. Nice, so keep going here. Each time you come down into that squat, take a look, left knee directly over that left heel. And try keep your left shin in contact with that railing through the whole movement. If you're feeling good, we add on that side over. So still going up and over to that foot bar. Exhale to the top. Inhale, find that squat first, arms to a T. Exhale, up and over. Take a side bend. Inhale, unravel. Exhale, dig into that heel to the top. Nice, team. And as you come down into that squat, just thinking about being in an elevator, so your body comes straight down, try not to push that bum out. Can you still wiggle your left toes at the bottom of that squat? Add that heel lift if you'd like to. So as you go side over, peel that left heel off the floor. As you unravel, heel comes down. Press to the top. 4 here. Three more. Hi, Ralph. Nice, and then we're going to finish with a hold at the bottom. So on your last one, find your wide-legged squat and hold. Side over, lift the heel. Find your T, lower the heel. Stay in that squat, go again. Side over, lift the heel. Open out, lower the heel for 4. Keep breathing. Exhale. Inhale for 3. For 2. The next time you lower that heel, open those arms out to a T, hold, pulse, down and down. Make sure those shoulders are rolled back and down. If you'd like a little bit more, lift that heel. Here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Heel down. Come all the way in. Oh my goodness, a little bit wobbly there for me. Beautiful, team. You can take a seat on your carriage. Left ankle over right thigh this time. We have one more exercise to finish us off. Let's do a little bit of upper body working through our back and a little bit of spinal mobility. So we're going to go 1 medium spring, 1 single medium spring. If you know you're stronger through your upper body, feel free to go either a high medium spring or a medium spring plus a yellow spring, plus a light spring, sorry. Then you're going to come to kneel on your carriage facing the back of the room, so your knees against those shoulder blocks, starting with your bum on your heels and knees as wide as you need to just to make space for that baby bump if you have one. Grab your short loops. Short loops are going to come out in front of you, so keep those arms nice and long. Knuckles start facing the ceiling, palms face down. Grow nice and tall through the crown of your head. Roll those shoulders back and down. And then as you exhale, can you row that left elbow back behind you? Nice little twist. Gaze follows that elbow. Inhale to release. Go again, other side. Exhale, right elbow draws back behind you. Keep it about shoulder height. Inhale, return back to your left. Exhale, row, rotate. Inhale, return. Exhale, row, rotate. Inhale, return. Nice. So this shouldn't feel too difficult at this point. We're mostly just working through some spinal mobility and warming up that upper body. So don't worry if you're not finding this super challenging yet. Make the most of that light tension to really think about the muscles that are working. So each time you row that left arm back, squeeze that left shoulder blade. And same with that right arm, squeeze that right shoulder blade. Focus on keeping those shoulders nice and relaxed. Gorgeous. Can you give me one more on each side? One more to the left. Nice, one more to the right. And then back to that start position. Rotate your hands. So your palms now face in, your knuckles face the sides of the room. We move into our back fly. Exhale, open those arms wide. Squeeze both shoulder blades together. Inhale to close. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Nice. Keep going like this. So this should feel a little bit more challenging. If it does get too much, you've got your larger loops. Nice. The next time you row those arms back, can you hold? Bend the elbows, tap your fingertips to your temples, open back out to that T, that fly, and then close. Can you give me 5 like that? Exhale, open. Inhale, bend. Exhale, open. Inhale, close for 4. Open, tap, keeping the same tension through your straps as you go for that tap. Good job. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Last 2. Lengthen those breaths. Good job on your last one. We're going to hold. Just do those taps of our temples. So exhale, open, tap your temples, and open. Go again. Tap your temples and open. Keep those breaths long for 4, 3, 2. Good job. On 1, open those arms wide. Little pulses if you can for 5. Squeeze the shoulder blades. 4, 3, 2, and close on 1. Nice job. Take a little round through those shoulders. I've got one last little push for you, and then you're done with your class. So this time you're going to take those straps in your hands, palms face the ceiling. Bring those arms out long, elbows just below shoulder height, and work through your bicep curls. So as you exhale, curl those straps in towards your face. Elbows stay lifted if you can. Inhale to open. This is your last exercise. Exhale, curl. Inhale, unfold. Nice. So thinking into the fronts of those arms. Shoulders relaxed if you can. Shoulder blades in your back pockets. Give me 5. Zip up that core. 4. Lengthen those breaths, team. Last 3. Last 2. Nice. On your last one, we hold. Curl it in. Reach those fingers for the ceiling. Little pulses. Lift and lower those elbows. Keep breathing. You're here for 5. Reach those fingers for 4. Relax those shoulders for 3. 2. Last one. And then you can uncurl those arms. Place those large loops back on your posts. Amazing job. Nice big shoulder roll. Maybe interlace those fingers in front of you. Take a little stretch out for that back. One arm out. Pull your fingers back towards you to stretch out that bicep. And then other side. Amazing work. We can work through just a quick little stretch here. So let's go. Your left foot down on the floor, right knee on the carriage. You can bring your foot bar back up if you'd prefer. Otherwise, hands to that solid platform. Send that carriage away to find your hip flexor stretch. So you can let that knee slightly fall out to the side of the machine. Either taking a gentle rock from side to side, or back and forth, sorry, or take it static. Good job. Let's come to the other side. Close that carriage. Walk carefully over. Right foot on the floor, left knee on your carriage. Slide away. Hands or forearms where they're comfortable. Lengthen out those breaths. And then finishing with our child's pose. So bring that carriage all the way in. Walk both knees carefully onto that carriage, as wide as that carriage. Feet together on that headrest. Hands to your foot bar or your solid platform. And slide that carriage away, melting your chest down towards your carriage. Those springs. If you do have a baby bump, you can bring your bum above your knees, just to make a little bit more space. Puppy pose, that might feel nicer for you. Melt your chest down towards those springs. And then you can slowly come up when you're ready. Amazing job, team. You did it. You made it to the end. I hope you feel good. My inner thighs are feeling a little bit shaky in a good way. Let me know if you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any requests. And I'll see you in the next workout. Goodbye.